watch a show, I tell myself I'm not going to fall in love with a couple, and every time, I keep falling in love. I keep falling in love. And Tasha and Paul, I think, if I were to rank my favorites, it's Tasha and Paul, Jay and Luke, then Ross and Thomas. I know you're going to say why are Ross and Thomas on that list, but at the end of their conversation in the last episode got me hooked. So I'm sorry. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. So in this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight UK, Season 8, Episode 4. I know I always advocate for the experts on Married at First Sight, but I don't know whether it's me or I don't know. Maybe maybe I've watched too many years. But George is giving me vibes, and him matched with Peggy just reminds me of a bit of sort of Ella. If you were to match Ella up with Arthur, that's the impression that I'm getting. Anyway, Peggy apparently is 32 years old. She lives at home with her mom and dad, and her dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and she's saying that apparently with the cancer he has, anytime he could go. I don't know what she means. Does she mean it spread or what? I don't know. Anyway, and so I find her hard to read. I find her hard to read, as in she says she's very close to her family. She's very caring when it comes to her dad and stuff, but she doesn't come across as that. So the words are there, but the emotion is not sort of radiating from her. I don't know whether it's just me, but I don't see how she's empathetic or compassionate or, just loving as a whole. I don't know. Maybe it's just her family and how they are. I don't know. George, apparently, he's half English, half French, and so his family live in the south of France, and he's going to be a bit too much. He's after the drama. Apparently, he's got this persona that he likes to present, because he wants to be the bubbly, the outgoing person. I think he just needs to calm down. I think he just needs to take a deep breath, sit down somewhere, calm himself down, and then present himself as himself. And whether or not Peggy will like him is a totally different story. But I think if he presents the way he's presenting at the moment, she's just going to look at him and say, no, no, no. I don't know whether he's really there for marriage. I think he needed to do some work before he came in. But hey, express have messed them. Maybe there's more to what we have seen. But hey, it is what it is. Well. Another couple joins my favorite list. Anyway, it is what it is. Oh, I really am liking some of them. So we have Tasha. Tasha, her parents divorced when she was young. She's a childcare assistant. And she really seems bubbly, outgoing. She's totally opposite of Peggy. This is what I mean, that you can just see it in her, that she comes across as someone who's loving, who's caring, who's very social and very extroverted and is very welcoming. So I like that about her. She's one of the youngest participants in the experiment, so I don't know how that will play out. And she says that in her family, they're not, people that hug or sort of kiss. And so there's going to be that issue of her sort of learning her love language and sort of, or if she does get matched with Paul, for example, Paul, whose love language might be touch and she's not used to touch. So I think that might be a hurdle for her to cross. But I think she's open to that and I really like her. And then Paul, oh my God, I like him. I like him. Please don't let me down. I really like the Tash and Paul. He lives at home with his parents as well. He's very active, which Tasha wanted in a partner. He's all he wants is someone who's spicy and someone who's got a great smile. Nothing about, oh, I wanted to be tall, I wanted to have long hair. No. So I think they're going to be a great match. I don't know how Paul's mom is going to react to the idea, because I've seen a clip of, his mother saying she wants to know her daughter-in-law before she meets her. I hope she's open to getting to know Tasha. I see them working, and I really hope Paul's mom opens her heart and allows herself time to get to know Tasha, because Tasha, I fell in love with Tasha. I really did. And I also fell in love with Paul. I think, yes, they are the youngest in the experiment, but they seem as the most lovable. So they're joining, Jay and Luke and Ross and Thomas in my list of favorite couples this season thus far. So with both couples matched, It's time for them to tell their families about their plans. And you have George. He sort of tells, I don't know whether it was his parents or his siblings. I didn't catch their name, sorry, when it came up. And they just took it for what it was. They just took it as George being George. And I'm nervous about George because even when his groomsmen came to his room, he was talking about, oh, I hope she's got, big boobs. And it's like, that's all you think of, big boobs. What happens if those boobs start to sag? Are you going to leave her? Make it make sense. Don't be an idiot. For lack of a better word, I know I try not to swear at these people, but he just came across as very, very shallow. He belongs in the same boat as Laura and Ella, in my opinion. You have Peggy's dad. He's really worried for his daughter because every parent would be worried, that she's marrying somebody she doesn't know. He does sort of swear at her for a bit, and then he seems to, jump on board as same as her mum. All they want is for her to get married, and her mum is there with her on her wedding day, sort of saying that she's very nervous. And I get where she's coming from because they don't know who she's marrying. And I think once they see George and the way he's behaving, they're going to say no because even George's friends were worried for him. He needs to stop his act. He needs to stop his act because that could be the thing that's sort of irking a lot of girls and sort of turning them off him, and this is why it's ended up in the experiment. Yes, Peggy, I'm a bit on the fence with. Yes, Peggy, I'm on the fence with her, but at least she should try and present himself as himself and not try and put on an act or play a character. That's just my opinion. Tasha, I think she told her mum, and her mum was just like, okay, it is what it is. But then when Paul told his mum, what do you expect from an African mother? She's going to speak her mind. She really wasn't there for it. She really reminded me of Jeffty's mum. If you've watched Married at First Sight USA, you'll know Jeffty. Jeffty's mum wasn't on board with him marrying Shanice, and yet they're celebrating 6 years of marriage. They celebrated this August. So I have high hopes for them because most times when one of the parents hasn't been on board, the couple have actually ended up working out, and the parent has actually realized that, oh, the experts actually did a great job. And I think the experts, as soon as they find out that the parents are not on board with it, they go out of their way to make sure that they give the parent, the partner, an ideal partner. So I really like that. And for them to show, Tasha dancing on the bed on the day of her wedding while his mother's there, Paul's mother's there, worried about her and stuff. If that was the worst they could show, then they should be okay. I think the mother's going to fall in love with Tasha. And I think if Paul doesn't fall in love with Tasha, he's going to be in trouble. Because I think once his mom falls in love with Tasha, he will have no choice but to carry on because he said he values his mom's opinion a lot. And I think Tasha comes across as very lovable. So I don't doubt that his mother's going to fall in love with her. I actually like her quite a lot. So I don't doubt that his mother's going to fall in love with her. Oh, I can't stop smiling. I really can't stop smiling. My face is actually hurting. So Paul was worried that his mom wouldn't turn up, and she eventually did turn up, although she still expressed a concern about her son marrying a stranger, and she sort of told him that, if you want to, you could leave. You really don't need to go through with this. And I like the fact that although she's worried, she doesn't say I don't like the girls. It's the fact that she doesn't know the girl that she's saying she's worried. So hopefully when Tasha sees this, it doesn't affect her in any way, and I hope they sit down with his mom and have a conversation about this. And so when Paul walked into the venue, they got married in a church. It was lovely. All the friends were ecstatic. All Tasha's friends, as soon as they saw Paul, were relieved and they were happy and they were like, "Oh my God, he's good looking." For which he is. For which he is. You can't knock that about him. He's tall. He's handsome. You know that was great for her. And then when Tasha walked in, Paul's excitement and Tasha's excitement at seeing one another. It's like they knew each other and they're like, oh my God, where have you been? So I really like that about them. Although the producers are shady because every time they panned to Paul's mom, she had this stern face, this stern look on her face, which I don't think was fair. I would love to think she smiled at some point because otherwise I don't think Tasha would have continued to be as ecstatic as she was, unless maybe Tasha was in her own world, so she didn't focus on what was going on with his mum. Obviously, she didn't know the mum wasn't on board with them getting married. And their vows were so sweet and so endearing and so intimate. Their reception was amazing. And then when they went to put the rings on, Paul's ring wouldn't fit on properly, and then when it did fit, it was the wrong hand, and so I like the fact that they made light of it. You can see that they're both happy with their partner. They are ecstatic with the person that they've been paired with. It's just like Jay and Luke. So I have high hopes for them. I really do, and I hope the producers don't decide to sort of use the drama with his mum as a point of reference for any sort of toxicity that they want to bring into the relationship. They seem very happy, and I really love that about them. Next up is Peggy and George, as he calls himself. That is a train wreck. That is a train wreck, and it's just a matter of time. Well, I don't even think they'll reach week 8. I think they'll reach maybe 5 weeks. I don't even think they'll reach 5 weeks because I think with his crudeness, George is going to put Peggy off, and she's going to end up saying, "Nah, I'd rather go home and look for myself than what you've messed me up with," unless he makes the change. So they arrive for their wedding, and all he's worried about is the boobs. All he wants to see is the boobs because he says he likes, breast implants because they feel better in his hands than normal breast, which I don't get. And when he walks in, you can see, Peggy's sister's excited, and she sort of tries to introduce herself to him, and he's very standoffish, and that's the moment he turned her off, in my opinion. And after that, she really wasn't down for it. I think if she had been asked, or if her sister had asked her, "Can I go ahead?" she would have told her no. Should have told her no. Because then Peggy came down with her dad. He was excited. And you can see that his friends are worried. So his friends are worried that he might say something that might turn, Peggy off. It was a good thing. Their vows were amazing. Obviously, he started off in French because French is always sexy, no matter what you're saying. And then, Peggy's vows were also intimate and very, very, very cute. She's a princess. She likes fairy tales, so it was to be expected. And at their reception, you could already tell because his friends were all great. He's managed to pull a chair for her. He's managed to kiss the mum, introduce himself to the mum. But the sister, you could tell wasn't feeling him. At one point, you could actually see Peggy's mom give Peggy's sister the look to say don't because she was asking, "Do you want children? Do you want this?" And it's just like, please don't. This is a train wreck. I can't wait. I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of the first couples to break up because I don't even get how the experts thought they would work, but we'll see how that plays out. And then you have Tasha and Paul taking pictures. And, Tasha does ask, "How does your mom feel?" I think the producers told her that his mom might not be on board with the wedding idea just for the drama. So you could see on her face dropped when she realized that it was true that his mom really wasn't into the idea of him getting married through the experiment, and she was worried that his mom is going to hate her. And I don't know why the producers decided to ruin her wedding day. Oh my God, the receptions. What can I say? It was their night. It was completely opposite. You have George and Peggy's wedding, and which was tension, and it was awkward, and it was humiliating and embarrassing, and everything you could think of. And then you have the peace and tranquility, which was Paul and Tasha's wedding. It was full of love. I think the producers tried to create too much of a stink about how Paul's mother actually felt, and it actually turned out completely opposite because you have George sit down for a chat with Peggy's sister, and he's talking to her and he's winking to somebody else, he's playing this character. I think he was bullied at school or something happened. He must have suffered some sort of trauma as a child. This is why he's always wanting to impress people by pretending to be somebody he's not, because I don't get why he has all this bravado. I know Peggy's sister was saying he's punching. Everyone can see he's punching. Everyone can see he's punching. But he's very shallow and he likes to play a character. And it's like, if you're saying that Peggy's everything you've wanted, why then are you still acting a fool? Why then are you still putting on this act? Why not be yourself and wait for her to see whether she'll accept that part of you or not? His best man was telling Peggy that, oh, at times he can be a bit crude, and it's like, are you his friend or are you his foe? Why are you saying all the negative things about him to his bride? It doesn't make sense. Allow her to see for herself. Um, Even the speech that he gave, oh, he changed his speedos, he said he had soiled himself, he did. That speech was very bad. Everybody in the room felt very uncomfortable. And I think they were wondering, why is this guy his best man? And why does he feel it's necessary to say, oh, he likes to game, he's very crude, is this? I didn't think it was appropriate, and I didn't think it was necessary. I don't think that's his friend. I think he needs to look for new friends because the friends that he has are not it, because they should have helped him become a better version of himself. Um, And then at Paul and Tasha's wedding, obviously there was this tension about Paul's mom because she wasn't on board with him getting married. So Paul was sitting with his friend, sort of having a conversation about his bride, and he was really ecstatic about her. He really likes her, it seems. And then that's when his mom sort of, because Tasha's friends were asking Tasha, "Are you going to go and speak to his mom?" Because they all were aware that she wasn't very happy about the process. And then she was waiting for someone to introduce her to Paul's mom, and then Paul's mom eventually came up to her. They sat down, they had a conversation. One of the very important things for the mother was religion, and it seems Tasha was baptized at 17 and she's a Christian, which sort of relaxed the mom that at least we have something in common. At least we can discuss our religion and the fact that they're both Christians, which they were happy about. So that is the tension, and that really made her very uncomfortable. That eased the tension and really made Tasha feel very welcome and very comfortable. And his mom was very happy. She really seemed to like Tasha. I like Tasha. Anyone who's very good and at working with children, I like, because they have a lot of patience, empathy, compassion, and are very sort of understanding. So you could see that the mom got on board. And then Paul stood up to say his speech. He thanked his parents, which was to be expected. And then he spoke about his friend and he started to cry. And I like the fact that Tasha immediately stood up and supported him, even though they're strangers, but she stood beside him. And that's all he needed to say, whatever he needed to say about his friend, who is the reason behind his decision to get married to a stranger. And then he spoke about his bride. I liked it. And then at the end, they did the Cupid slide. I liked that. It was really sweet. It was really sweet. So I have high hopes for them. I really hope they make it because, oh my God, I would be heartbroken. It was a great episode. I did feel awkward at times watching Peggy and George, but I really liked the Tasha and Paul bit of the wedding. So it's amazing. Even the friends, Paul's friends, were really happy for him. So I really hope Paul and Tasha work out. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye everyone.